evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the channel. So we had some stuff planned up for today, but that went out the window because you know how I mentioned in the last video, if I missed one of the applied damage pals, then we got to go back and do that one. I so happened to miss one. And it is, I am guessing on the pronunciation here, Maraith is what I'm guessing. We'll put that in it. Maybe it is, maybe it is, I don't know. But that's one that I missed. So I need to go back and breed up one and do my due diligence to test it and everything. The reason why I missed this one is because, I mean, it's not really that prevalent in most people's minds. But as you can see, it is a damage applied dark type, and it is a mount. So yeah, we're gonna have to test that, and then after we test that one, we will be doing a full breakdown on all of the applied damage pals. Meanwhile though, I do have Suzaku lined up, which was going to be the one after I did the full breakdown, but we might as well go ahead and do it since I don't have the other one and we need to put out a video today. So today we are talking about Suzaku, or Suzaku, however you want to pronounce it. As it reads, can be ridden as a flying mount, enhances fire attacks while mounted. So we bred up two of these. One has better attack power than the other, has better defensive and health stats. So just wanted to show this as well as a comparison that there's not that big of a difference between like 80 and almost 100 IVs. For instance, we have a 86 on the IVs for the defense on this one and an 85 for the health. And as you can see, we're at 7,043 health and 1,020 defense. With the other one, we are at 97 and 97 across the board, and we're at 1,211 health with 1,042 defense. So it's literally a 20-point difference in defense with a little bit of a larger gap than 10 IV. And then same goes for the health is about a 200-point difference, maybe a little bit less, say 150, maybe 160, 150, something like that. So yeah, there's not too big of a difference when it comes to the IVs. If you get ones that are in the 80s, then you're probably pretty good and well off. 70s as well. I mean, the attack power here is the difference of, I'd say, about 60 points, and this one's at a 75 attack and this one is at a 97. So that's a larger gap, but it's not too big of a gap to where it's like, do I really need to worry about it? Not really, but if you're trying to do perfects, then I get it. Nonetheless, we will be using the one with better attack power because that's our goal. So with this being an enhancement pal, and we've already done the test on two of the fire enhancement pals with Blazemut and the Ormatide Ignis, I thought it would be a good idea to throw this one in to kind of finish up that trio of enhanced fire damage. We are running Ferocious, Legend, Musclehead, and Flame Emperor. We will be running rubies behind it, and since this is a flying mount, we don't have to worry about adding an extra flyer as we would have to do with like Blazemut and the Ormatide Ignis. So there is a benefit with that. So we could do a quad stack of rubies and not be too far off. And I think the way that I got this one was a Blazemut, or it may have been the Frostallion Knocked. Yeah, that's what I did it with. It was a Blazemut and Frostallion Knocked. But yeah, there's a couple of different builds here. Paldius and Necromus make a Suzaku. A lot of higher end pals though, so it is kind of a top end one. Cryolinks and a Blazemut. Also, you can go up here where the boss version is at level 45, so this is a later pal that you get. I'd say it is around the same time that you'd be getting a Ormatide Ignis, because your Ormatide is at level 45 as well. Or you go over here to this island. This is where you'll usually find the Ormatide Ignis. There's a lot of them over here, and they're at level 45, I think, at max, and at 40 at the lowest. You'll be getting this, if not right on par with it, maybe a little bit later than your Ormatide, but probably not as far off as your Blazemut. Blazemut would be the last out of this grouping that you'd be getting through your run. Now, with all that being said, so we will be testing the Suzaku against a couple of things. I think giving its abilities and with its stats as of right now, which we are at 2,367 attack power with the 4 rubies behind it. We are also sitting at 7k health and a 1,000 defense. So this is roughly about the same defense as the Ormatide Ignis is, and roughly about the same attack power as the Blazemut. The difference is that it is a flying POW with the enhancement, so that might make a bit of a difference as far as your choices go when it comes to that. Like I said, I had not tested this prior to decision making on between the two, at least with Blazemut and Yormtide Ignis, which one was better, and I chose Blazemut over that for the basic reason of it having more defense. But with that being said, as a preventative measure for me, so I don't end up dying on this, I am going to feed myself a Rushmore hot dog and feed the Suzaku cheeseburger. With that cheeseburger, we are now at 2,841 attack power. So if we compare this to our Blazemut that we have that's at 99, without food, we're at 2,755. With food, we're at 3,306. So I will take back that statement as there is about a large discrepancy there when it comes to attack power. And I don't have my Yormtide Ignis down here right now, so I can't really compare that, but I know that it's higher than that. 2,841 attack power is nothing to scoff at. That's pretty decent. So we will be testing them against higher end POWs. We're going to go straight up against Frostallion first and work our way around to see what we can do. If necessary, I will feed it a Rushmore hot dog, but at the moment, we're going to go with the food buff of attack power, and I am going to feed myself hot dog. First foremost, we will also keep this with a bit of fairness, as we are not going to be hopping off the PAL for them to do more damage or have their secondary attacks go, because I did not do that with the Blazemut or the Yormtide. Suzaku is relatively slow as well, so but we will start off with Seed Mine and then with a Fireball. Already dropped a quarter health there. Whoop. Okay, that was a cheap shot on my part. I did hop off of it. Okay, so in death, it ended up killing the Frostallion, but I ended up dying. So I might have to fix that. I need to look at where my, if I even have any going right now, probably not. Oh yeah, for the person that was asking in the last video about how I'm seeing the IVs, there are IV goggles that you can make using the Ancient Civilization cores, which you get from killing Bella Noir. And to show, those are these things right here. Ability glasses is what they're called. All right, we are going to use one of these mind wipes to get ourselves some more health, because this is just my running around my base one. So put in about 1,500, 200 into stam, and the rest we'll put into weight. So now we have 3,260 health, so that ought to help a bit with our survivability. And this time we will do more of a fair fight against Frostallion, because I hopped off and I didn't mean to hop off. I meant to lower and I hit the wrong button and jumped off, and that was actually kind of perfectly timed because I ended up whacking them with a fireball. I will say this, that the Suzaku does have, I feel, a bit more stamina involved than both the Blazemut and Yormtide. Definitely more than the Blazemut. That's right, we ended up killing her. Whoop. Well, we will come back around to that, but let's go test it against some other things. Let's try to do a tower boss. Get right in there. We'll go against Shadowbeak. Getting tore up. Well, there you have it. We got to sleep, so let's go retest against Frostallion, and we'll swing over to Paldius and Necromus because it seems to be doing pretty good damage for what it's worth. And surprisingly, even with the lack of defense that it has in comparison to, say, Blazemut and everything, it's actually taking a bit less damage. That could be because it is a flyer, maybe, that it's just not getting direct hits and we're able to move a little bit more. Definitely not faster, but yes, Suzaku has no problem with that. And I think the difference really is at this point because of us having a fire pal that is strictly a fire pal rather than fire and dragon. Because the fire and dragon with the Yormantide Ignis specifically doesn't necessarily take more damage because he's also fire. And he doesn't take less damage because he's also dragon. So it's what would be, I consider to be mainline damage. And with, I guess, that lower bit of defense, that really ends up getting eaten up pretty quickly with that. With this being a straight fire type, it is definitely taking less damage. So we ended up surviving that pretty good and eating quite a bit. So let's test it against something that it necessarily isn't strong or weak against as well. And we'll be taking kind of a neutral damage from it with Paldius and Necromus. I am a little hesitant because I really want to bring the rocket launcher with me. So I might do that as well. We did end up bringing our rocket launcher with us, but we don't have any we don't have anything into attack power, so we just have a baseline attack power with our pendant and then the rubies with the Vanguard and Stronghold Strategist on them. So we do get a little bit of a buff off of that. Instead of 100, I think we're at 155. Yep, the 55% increase. Well, we'll have to wait for that to charge back up. That's what happens when I hit B too many times. But we're definitely going to have the rocket launcher out just in case for volley purposes to kind of keep the attacks down if we start to get super low. But regardless, we do want to see what kind of damage it can take. So it will be one of those last resort things. Everybody wants some too. I have no idea why they moved all the way over here, but we'll hit them with the seed mine first. We took Paldius' health down quite a significant amount there. Chunks of damage. I'm just gonna put him on the ground real quick. We got Necromus down. Well, there you have it. We did lose quite a bit of health, but was able to survive fairly well, even with it being at an 86 defense. Yeah, not too shabby. I guess the main advantage with the Suzaku is the simple fact that you can 4-stack going against the world bosses. I mean, you could do it with the other ones, but then you're going to have to be traversing the terrain quite a bit more as far as trying to get to where you're trying to kill stuff. So there is that. It's a bit of a factor. But the fact that Suzaku is a flyer is more convenient for you to be able to 4-stack behind it with the rubies. And the other advantage with the Suzaku is the stamina seems to be much greater than the other two. So in conclusion, do I think Suzaku is worth it? I'm going to say yes. There are some advantages that it poses over the Blazemut and the Yormantide Ignis with its flying capabilities. With the Yormantide Ignis, even with it at 100 IVs, was I think at the same defense, but because it is a dragon versus Ice Pals, it was taking normal damage. So that's why I think that the Yormantide Ignis is not that great when it comes to that. And with the Suzaku, we were able to go through the gauntlet between Frostallion, Paldius Necromus, and Shadowbeak and not see too much damage taken, as we were taking a lot of damage. Paldius and Necromus, we definitely took a bit more damage. I only used probably like 3 or 4 rockets in total, and that was just to knock them down to keep them from attacking that last little bit. It is a fairly large target, but I still think that there's something to be said about it being a flyer as well, being able to maybe maneuver a little bit more on the ground, or maybe it's just that the weak spot on the Suzaku is maybe a bit smaller than, say, the Yormantide. Yeah, you really can't go wrong with any of the fire enhancement pals. I'd say Suzaku and Blazemut are really good, both of them. Suzaku might be even better than Blazemut. Blazemut definitely has more attack power when it comes to Bella Noir. In that fight, then I would choose building a bunch of Blazemuts over a bunch of Suzakus or a bunch of Yormantides. But Suzaku might not be a bad option either. If you got some that you've already started up, then why not? I have not tested these guys against Bella Noir, but it might be something that could be in the future down the road. So yeah, you guys enjoyed this video, drop a like. If you guys enjoy my content, drop a sub. We will be doing the next video on the Maraith. Not sure how that is pronounced. This will be the last one in the applied damage pals, and then after that video we will be talking as a whole breakdown of all applied damage pals, and then we will be moving on from there to the Shadowbeak, because someone had requested that, and since it is part of the enhancement pals, which is the next section that we're going into, we've already done a couple of enhancement pals with the Yormantide, Blazemut, and Suzaku, and that's where we'll be moving on from there. Other than that, keep your willy washed, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out.